Hello everyone, good evening. I welcome you all to Civil's Mentorship. So from today onwards, we will be starting with the PYQ sessions. So for today, we will be starting with the world history topic, where we will be discussing all the PYQs from 2013 till 2025, and not only that, we will be preparing our notes as well for the specified topic. So this is how we will be covering all the PYQs, not only for world history, but for all the topics as well, means for all the subjects as well. But now here the main question that arises is that why we are starting with the world history topic. So why we are starting with the world history topic? Now it's simple. Because many aspirants often think that not many questions comes from world history. So I will prepare it after prelims. And because of that mindset only, they end up neglecting this subject completely. But think about it. What if in a particular year, more questions are asked from world history? Not only this world history, aspirants often neglect the topic from post-independence India as well, thinking about the same. But imagine that if you have not prepared it properly, and more number of questions came from either world history or post-independence India for a particular year, then you will have no choice but to leave those questions unanswered, right? That's exactly why we are going to start with the main specific subjects first. So we will be starting with the main specific subjects first, and only after completing these things, we will move on to the subjects which are of utmost importance from both prelims as well as from mains perspectives as well. So this is how we will be going forward. So that's why we are starting with a world history topic, because it is entirely main specific. And not only that, as I have already mentioned earlier, that every week we will write 2 essays. So there will be 2 essay sessions every week. And along with that, we will also cover CSAT as well. So there will be 2 CSAT sessions every week along with 2 essay sessions as well. So this is how we have planned for. And the most important thing is that we will be covering entire thing by 31st of January 2026. Because our prelims exam will be having on May. So that means we need approximately 90 days to prepare for entirely from prelims perspective. So that's why February, March, April, we can prepare ourselves from prelims perspective. So that's why entirely we will be covering these things by 31st of January. So that means we don't have much time left. We have hardly 118 days to cover all these things. So let's begin with world history. And whatever approach that we will be following here, the approach will remain the same for all other subjects as well. And for the subjects that are part of, like suppose what do I mean with this statement is that, see, world history is not there in my prelims, right? So that means it is entirely from mains perspective. So we will be covering the mains PYQs from 2013 to 2025. And along with that, we will be preparing our notes as well. But let's suppose a particular subject, say for example, polity and constitution. Now that is a very important subject from both prelims as well as mains perspective. So in that case, along with these things, like along with solving the mains PYQs, along with preparation of notes and all, we will be solving the prelims PYQs as well. But over there also we will be sticking with this timeline, that is from 2013 till 2025. So this is how we will be going, this is how our approach will be. So let's start with the world history first. So before starting with any subject, 2 things we need to follow. What are those 2 things? First of all, 2 things that we need to follow is, one is the syllabus. We need to go through the syllabus first, and along with the syllabus, we need to go through the previous year questions as well. And we need to try to decode the syllabus based on the previous year questions. So that means these are the 3 things we need to do for each and every subject before we start preparing ourselves. That is, we need to go through the syllabus first, And along with that, parallelly, we need to look after the previous year questions as well, that what type of questions came from a particular topic. And then we need to try to decode the syllabus. And then we need to stick to that only. So that is how our approach should be for each and every subject. So first of all, let's look at the syllabus of world history. So what is mentioned in the syllabus? It's mentioned that world history will cover what are the topics. History of the world will include what? Now, events from 18th century such as Industrial Revolution, World Wars, redrawal of national boundaries, colonization, decolonization, and political philosophies like communism, capitalism, socialism, etc. Their forms and effects on the society. So this is what is mentioned for the syllabus for world history. So basically, what are the pointers if we see the syllabus again? So what are the pointers they have mentioned? So basically, we need to study all the events that happened from 18th century onwards, such as the Industrial Revolution, World Wars, redrawal of national boundaries, colonization, and decolonization. And along with that, what are the concepts that we have understood from those events like communism, capitalism, socialism? So those concepts we need to understand from those particular events. So this is the syllabus that they have given. Now let us check that how many questions are coming for these particular topics. See, in 2000, if I check from 2013 onwards till 2025, it's not that more number of questions are coming from this particular topic of the syllabus, GS1 syllabus. If you see in 2013, 40 numbers, that means these are number of marks that came. So that means 40 marks came from world history topic. And after which it's a constant, approximately 12.5, 10. Even in 2018, none of the questions came. In 2020 also none of the questions came. 2022 also none of the questions came. But there was a slight increase. That means 30 marks questions came in 2024. That means there were two 15 marker questions that came in 2024. But again in 2025 only one question came, which is of a 15 marker. So that means on an average if I take on an average, it will come approximately 1 to 2 questions that are coming from the world history topic. Okay, so this based on this only we will have the framework in our mind that okay, we should not go deeper into the topics because it's a waste of time, because we will not be preparing ourselves for history optional. Now history optional aspirants can prepare in a deeper manner. That's absolutely fine. That should be done. But from GS perspective, we will not go into deeper part. We will on a high level, we will check or we will go through the entire syllabus, whatever is required. So this is the syllabus and these are the number of questions came, now marks came. So overall from 2013 onwards till 2025, we have total 16 questions that came as of now. So from 2025, like suppose in 2025 only this particular question came that the French Revolution has enduring relevance to the contemporary world, explain. So now let's see that from French Revolution what other type of questions came. Now this is, I am just showing an example. When we will be solving these questions, we will go deeper. So let's see any other further questions that came from French Revolution or not. Yes. If you see in 2019 also one question came, that is explain how the foundations of the modern world were laid by the American and French Revolution. So this is what we need to see from the previous year questions, that for a particular topic, what are the question scale and what are the length and breadth of the question that they have asked for, based on which we will prepare ourselves. So this was all about the previous year questions. And now the most important part. What is that? Now decoding of the syllabus. So in the syllabus what is mentioned? History of the world will include what? Now events from 18th century. Such as, so that means basically we need to understand from the modern age. But for our understanding purpose, we will start understanding the particular syllabus just before the modern age. So this is how the logic or how the sequence of the syllabus will go. First of all, we will get to know about the world before the modern age. Though this particular topic is not there in the syllabus, but still why we are reading this part? Because it will help us to understand that what exactly happened after the modern age. See, this particular topic will set the stage before the 18th century because our syllabus starts from the 18th century. But why we need to start from here? Because first we need to understand that what the world looked like before the revolutions. So then only we can appreciate that how big the changes were after the 18th century. So that is why we will be going through this particular topic as well. So what are the topics that we will be covering over here? We will understand about feudalism and absolute monarchies. We will go through the topic on enlightenment, and there will be also be going through the topic on scientific revolution. So this particular topic, this particular chapter will set the philosophical foundation for revolutions and modern ideas. Because after which only we can appreciate that what was there before 18th century and what was done after 18th century, and in between what all have happened in order to bring those changes. So that is what we need to understand over here. Next is the age of revolutions. So age of revolutions means the political revolution, the birth of modern political ideas. Now these revolutions, what exactly they did? Now what does the term revolution means? Now revolution means in order to change something, you are revolting. That's what revolution means. So these particular revolutions or these revolutions, now what are those revolutions? The American Revolution, the French Revolution, and then the spread of revolutionary ideas. So these revolutions challenged kings and old systems, paving the way for democracy, nationalism, and human rights. See, from American Revolution, we will get to know about the concept of freedom, self-rule, democracy. From French Revolution, we will understand the concept of equality, fraternity, secularism. And then how the revolutionary ideas from America and French spread to Latin America, Europe, and the rise of Napoleon. So these are the things we will be studying over here. So from this particular section, we will see that how the modern political world, now like modern political world means what? Now democracy, liberalism, nationalism began from this particular section. Next comes the Industrial Revolution. Now Industrial Revolution was also part of the age of revolutions only, but the previous topic whatever we had discussed is political revolutions. But Industrial Revolution is the economic revolution. Now what does this means? It is the birth of the modern economic world. So from the previous section we have understood about revolutions. Now while these particular revolutions will change the politics, Industrial Revolution will change the economy and society forever. So what are the topics we will be studying in this particular chapter? Why the Industrial Revolution began in England? That is very much important to understand the concept. Why it began in England? What are the major inventions and industries that had happened? Now, what are the social and economic effects like urbanization, capitalism, working class, trade expansion? And finally, we will understand on a high level the concept of imperialism. So from this particular section, what are the things we are going to learn? We can connect how economic changes led to colonial expansion and social reforms. So that is what we are going to learn from this particular topic. Next comes the age of imperialism and colonization, 19th century. What does this mean? Now the Europe had conquered the world. So after all the industrial revolutions, France, American Revolution, French Revolution, now Europe has conquered the world. So industrial revolution has created wealth and weapons. So now Europe had started capturing Asia and Africa. So from here only we will understand the concept of imperialism and colonization. Now, after colonization, what are the causes? Why they colonized the world, or why Europe went for colonization? What are the economic causes? We will understand what are the political causes, what were the religious causes, and then we will see that how they have expanded in Asia and Africa. And we will not stop there. We will also see that because of that colonization, what were the consequences of it, like exploitation, modernization, resistance movements, all those things. So, from this particular section, we will see that how industrial Europe extended its dominance globally. Why? Because colonization is nothing but it's a direct outcome of that industrial and political revolution only. Because of those industrial and political revolutions only, European countries became wealthier. So that is why they went out for colonizing the countries in Asia, the Asian and African countries. So from this section only we will see that how industrial Europe extended its dominance globally. Next comes the rise of nationalism and unification movements. Now how the linkage is there, you see. Now European countries went for colonizing the Asian and African countries. So colonization was happening abroad. But within Europe, new ideas of nationalism were reshaping the countries, like the unification of Italy and Germany, nationalism in Europe, now nationalism and imperialism. So this particular topic will help us to understand that how modern nation states were formed and why nationalism later caused world wars. Because for this is the from here only the world war started, means it was a build up to the world war. So that is why this is very much important to understand that how the modern nation states were formed. Next topic comes is the world war. So from here, what are the things that we will learn? Now World War One. So World War One is nothing but the clash of empires. The imperial rivalries, nationalism and alliances now exploded into global conflict. So from here, what are the things we are going to learn? So we will try to understand the causes behind World War, the militarism, alliances, imperialism, nationalism, and what were the events that took place. And also we will understand that what were the results of that particular World War. And not only that, we will also try to understand the impacts like economic depressions, new nations, resentment in Germany. So all those details we will be covering. So that means, see, the event is World War. Now the World War event, how to prepare our notes? So this is the World War. World War is a particular event. So for this particular event, what are the things we need to learn? We need to know about the causes. We need to know about that what are the events that had happened. We need to know also about the results that happened and also the impact. So next comes the interwar period. So in this period, this particular period links the two wars, that is the World War One and World War Two. Now in this particular section tells us how new political philosophies shaped the 20th century and led to World War II. So in this particular interwar period, what are the topics we are going to learn? We will be understanding about the Great Depression, the rise of fascism in Italy, rise of Nazism in Germany, rise of communism in Russia, and the failure of League of Nations. So all these things we will be trying to understand in this particular section. Next comes World War II. So what is World War II? Now World War II is a total war and global transformation. Over here also, now again see, this is an event. So over here also we will prepare our notes in the same manner as we had prepared for World War I. We need to understand what were the causes behind World War II. We need to understand that what are the events that have happened. We need to also understand that what were the results, like the outcomes of World War II, and then the impact. So these are all the things that we need to understand from World War II. Next comes decolonization. Now colonization we have understood. So decolonization, why? Now decolonization is the end of colonial rule. So after World War II, colonies began demanding independence. So this connects back to imperialism and nationalism, because from there only the idea of colonization started. So decolonization, what are the things we need to learn from here? We need to know what were the causes behind the weakening of Europe, nationalist movements, the role of UN, and we will study some case studies also from India's perspective, Africa's perspective, and Southeast Asia. Along with that, we will also understand that what were the challenges faced while the decolonization process was happening. So these are the 9 parts that we need to cover. Not only that, we will cover 2 more parts as well. So we need to cover Cold War era, that is 1945 to 1991. This is the ideological rivalry which shaped the modern world. Now what does this means? Now after World War II and decolonization, the world was divided between 2 ideologies. That is capitalism, USA, and communism, USSR. So from this particular topic, we will try to understand the meaning of Cold War and the bipolar world. As I mentioned that it was a bipolar world, capitalism and communism. And next we will try to understand that what were the key events that took place, and then the end of Cold War. Not only this, so next comes the political philosophy. So this particular thing is, we will not consider it as a separate chapter, but as and when we will go through a particular event, we will try to understand the concept as well. Say for example, when we will be going through American and French revolutions, we will try to understand the concept of liberalism. So when we will be going through industrial revolution, we will try to understand the concept of capitalism. Then when we are going to industrial revolution, we will try to understand the concept of socialism and communism. And then during the interwar period, we will try to understand the concept of fascism. And during the decolonization period, we will try to understand the rise of nationalism and democracy. So this is how we can decode the syllabus, which will help us to prepare ourselves for the particular subject. So with this, I hope you understood that what is the syllabus given and what are the things we need to prepare for. So based on this, we will start preparing ourselves. So now, as I mentioned that there were 16 questions. So what was the first question that we had, means what was the first topic that we need to cover? The world before the modern age. So we will try to cover this particular topic. So we will be going topic wise. Like suppose example I am giving. So in tomorrow's session, we will see this particular topic, the world before the modern age. We will try to understand it. But since this particular topic is not mentioned in the syllabus, so there will be no questions from here. But when we will be trying to understand about American Revolution, we will try to understand the concept first, and then we will go through the PYQs as well. Now what do I mean by going through the PYQs? It's not that we will discuss the PYQ. We will write the PYQs. Like suppose I will write the say for example American Revolution. Now in American Revolution there is a question that American Revolution was an economic revolt against mercantilism. Substantiate. So this is a 10-marker question that came in 2013. Now I will write this question, and next session we will discuss this particular question. So in the previous videos we have tried to understand that what are the mistakes or how to write a particular answer. So in each and every answer we will try to apply those knowledge, and then we will evaluate as well. So what you can do along with me, you can also go through these topics and you can also write the answer. So based on that, we both can see that what are the mistakes that we are doing, how we can improve our answers. So in this way, we both can complete all the questions as well. So this was all about for today. So for tomorrow onwards, we will start doing the topic directly. Like suppose, as I mentioned, that we will start with the world before the 18th century. So that's how we will proceed further. So you can practice yourself. If you have already covered world history, so you can prepare your questions as well. You can prepare the answers as well. So we'll meet again tomorrow. Till then, thank you.